Welcome. I'm Adjunct Instructor Charles W. Bill Marshall. You can email me at that address or call me at that cell phone number. I would appreciate that you email me and set up an appointment, and we'll do an MS team meeting. All right, so today we're going to try to create a SongBird ERD using SQLDBM.com. And we're going to make an ERD is an entity relationship diagram. Our goal is this is the sample database that we've got, and we haven't gone far enough into the class to understand why everything is where it is. But today we are simply trying to understand how to use SQLDBM.com to build a model of this database. When you log into MS SQL DBM, this is the screen that you see if you go to the dashboard. And so the very first thing that we want to do is create a project. And notice that it says you can only have one active project at a time, but you can archive other projects as part of the free demonstration. So we want to create a project. And we want to base it on MySQL, and we want a new project. And we want to come up here and call it SongBird. And we are now ready to start making tables. And when we look at our sample that we have, the first thing that we've got is categories. So the name of the table is categories. And you are going to hear me refer to entities and tables interchangeably. And in fact, I usually think of them as tables, but the class and the logic behind relational databases calls them entities. And in an entity or a table, we have the key fields that tell us how to find it and the data fields. And as I demonstrated just now, I call those fields. There's one level of database technology that calls those characteristics. So if somebody starts talking to you about characteristics and entities, and you're used to thinking in tables and fields, it's the same, just using different words. So as we know, MS SQL DBM, things that we put up here are key fields. So if we want to put something in there above the line, and we do, we want to have ID. Now, I will tell you, in my world, that ought to be category ID, but our goal now is to duplicate exactly what the textbook did, and we're working in MySQL because this program doesn't support Access. Access is going to call it all a number, but in SQL language, it's called serial. And so that's our database type. And serial means that it's an integer number that's automatically assigned. And when we look at our categories table, that's the only key we have. So we come below the line and we say product types. And that's a character. And we can make it a varchar, which is variable character length, and 45 is long enough. Now, in Access, it would default to 255. I don't think you really want to do that. And so we're going to pick varchar. And that's our first table that we've done. And so we can drag it out of the way. And the next thing that we want to do is customer. And so we come to tables and we say create a new, and it is customer. And I'm sorry, it's customers, plural. And then we have an ID. Again, in my world, that ought to be customer ID. And it's a serial because it's an auto number. And now the data that we want to have on it is first name. And note that we didn't have any spaces. And that's a varchar 45. And then we want a last name. Note how you can correct an error. I would like to tell you that I did that so that I could show you correcting an error, but the truth is I just made a mistake. So we want a varchar 45 for that. And now we have street address. And we're going to make that a varchar. And the 45, I think you all know, but the 45 means that's how long it can be. And we know that states are character 2, like KY for Kentucky and OH for Ohio. And then we've got a zip code. And I made that a character 10, except I can't type, because that's how long it takes, I believe, for the Canadian ones. But if we were just going to use US, we could have made it 9. So we have phone number and I'm running out of room, so I'm going to come there. And then we have city. See, when you get very close to the bottom of the screen, it won't autofill for you. And this is just a binary because we either do or we don't want to have them on the mailing list. And so we want to give 255 characters. Now, in all these cases, we've said not null, but null, not null means you have to make an entry in every. Well, we don't know that there's going to be notes, and we don't know that they want to add them to the mailing list and save keystrokes if it's blank that it's no. We probably want a city. We probably don't want a state. And see the way I'm changing it is just clicking. And if I click again, it goes back to not null. And we may not make them hand in us a street address. But each of these is not a science, it's an art form in that you've got to know your use and your customers to know what it should be. Okay, so our next thing is menu item. And so we again come up here and we do create a new, and we're going to type in we click this so we get to see it. And again, we remember that things above this, the thing above the line are indexes, our primary key, how we find it, and below the line are the data. And so we're going to pick up product ID, and we have price. Those last two have a data type called money, which knows how to round and knows that you only go to two places and so forth. Now, I didn't fill in the rest of the stuff there, and you'll see why shortly. So then we have order items, another table. And the key for order items is again ID. And very shortly, you're going to see that having all these key fields just called ID is a really bad idea because it becomes very confusing later to know what all right, so that's a decimal value. And now we move on to order table. And again, we have to find the order table. We have a ID, yet another one. And then we have paid, which will be a binary field that either is or it isn't. And it's a binary. Was it a pre-order or was it not? And notes. And a varchar tells what the maximum size is, but it's variable so that if you don't use that many spaces, it doesn't have to take up as 255 characters. If you only put in 3, it's only 3 long in the data storage. And then a pickup date. Again, notice no spaces in the field names. And we just simply want a date value because we're not trying to work to what time of day it is. All right. So orders December is a strange one that's not going to be tied to anything else, but we've got to create it. So it's typical that people want to store data not very relationally, but so that they have the ability to see history. And notice we're not storing keys. This is a standalone table that will be able to just be used by itself. It doesn't need anything else around it. And again, I'm going to drag it up here where I got more room. All right. And the truth is, I don't understand what the difference between this one and number of units sold, but because we're just copying and all we're trying to do is duplicate, we don't have to understand. Okay, so that's order December, and we'll move it down here out of the way. And now we've got to do a product table. And we want to create a new table. And it's right there. And so it's going to be our product table. And its primary key is, wait for it, ID, which is a really bad idea. And now we're into data for it. And we have product name. Again, when you get to the bottom, it can't see it. It won't display this stuff. And description. Now, if you've been following along, in an Access, I think the biggest bar chart you can have is 255, so we'll set that. If you've been following along, you'll say, but Mr. Marshall, you've got tables that you don't have values in for the fields. And that's right. So let's go back and look at the order table. And one of the things that it has is a customer. And we see that if you have this click here and go to there, now we have the customer ID. And let's see, they had it the very top thing. So we'll move it up there. And then they had paid and pre-order and notes, and so that one's done. And now we go to order items. Nope. All right, let's get that one undone. And we see, and the way I did that was I just held down on the mouse and drug the whole landscape around. Order items has a link to order ID. And so we want to come here and menu item ID. And now you're starting to see the problems with having everything called ID. Yeah, I'm not sure. Can we? Well, for what we're doing, that's good enough. All right. So now we have to get to the sales unit. Which we haven't created yet. So we come over here and we want to add, and we want to add a table called sales unit. When we get done, sales unit has, wait for it, an ID. And a product name. Which is varchar, and a sales unit value. And this is like any other database that you work on. When you see it, you go, well, I would have done it such and so. But right now, our goal is not to change anything. We're just trying to see. Much anything, what we're trying to do is make sure that we can use this software to just demonstrate theirs. All right, so we need a menu item, and the menu item is linked to the sales unit. All right. And we also need and we've got it to a product ID. So where is our product table? All right. But we don't want it up there. We want it down there. All right. So the product table is linked to a category. So we want one category can have many entries in the product table. And so that's why we start with the one side and go to the many side. All right. Menu items has to be linked to order items. And it is. And order table needs to be linked to customers. And it is. So we need a total of 8 tables. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we have now want to save it. And we want to save it as a SongBird project. So now we've got something we can work with. And let's see what auto layout does. Well, you can decide whether you like that or not. Oh, we do have, and rather than coming over here, we could have just clicked that to insert a table. Now, what I'm trying to do is figure out how to share with you. And that's right up here. So I want to come into share and I want to add an email. And you're going to add C. Marshall. Now, I can't use that, and you press send an email. And you got to decide whether you want to allow me to edit or not, and you don't need to. But because I'm already in a C. Marshall, I'm going to use my private email address. And all right. So the last thing that you would do just and scrolling changes the zoom. And so the last thing I would ask you to do is try to get it all on one screen. And see how when I lost it, I could come up here and press display. All right, so what is that? What I'm trying to do is bunch it up as tight as I can so I get everything on one screen so that I can take a screenshot and email it to the instructor in case the sharing doesn't work. And so you're going to email me that screenshot, like I say, in case we can't share. That way I can see your work. And we want to save. And we want to come over to the dashboard. And we have built our SongBird project. If you have questions, let me know. If you have questions, call me. Better yet, email me at cmarshall0050@kctcs.edu. That's my telephone number in case I don't respond, but I will try to. But it works better for me for you to email me when you're available for an MS Team meeting so that we can work together on if you have a question. Thank you. Have a good day.